Hello, I'm Nick Simpson, and this poster is titled Similar Perceptual Repulsion Effects for Lifelong and Recently Learned Expectations. A previous study by Fan et al. Shows that the expectation of gravity, where downward moving objects are more likely to be accelerating and upward moving objects more likely decelerating, produces a perceptual repulsion from expectation, where downward moving objects are perceived as less accelerating than upward moving objects. This differs from finding in our lab and the wider literature that more often show perceptual attraction to the expected. Understanding the differences can help illuminate the interaction of expectation and perception. In these experiments, participants saw balls travelling up, down, left, or right. They were asked to respond whether the ball was accelerating or decelerating. In experiment 1, the basketball context was used to replicate Fan et al.'s vertical effect, and the horizontal directions were used as cues to generate expectations. Experiment 2 replicated the horizontal findings of experiment 1, but with a textureless context and purple ball. Experiment 3 then used ball colour rather than motion direction to generate acceleration expectations. To build these horizontal expectations, skewed distributions were assigned to each condition. The ACK distribution has a positive mean and the balls are more often accelerating, whereas the DEC distribution has a negative mean and the balls are more often decelerating. The neutral distribution was used in experiment 1 for the vertical condition. Participant responses were fit to psychometric curves and the point of subjective constant velocity extracted for each condition. This is the acceleration value where participants were equally likely to respond accelerating or decelerating. A more positive PSCV indicates a bias to respond decelerating. The PSCVs for each condition could then be compared. Experiment 1 vertical replicates Fan et al.'s finding that downward moving objects are perceived as less accelerating than upward. This repulsion is also seen in the horizontal conditions of experiments 1 and 2, where objects expected to be accelerating are perceived as less accelerating than those expected to be decelerating. However, in experiment 3, when the ball colour, rather than the motion direction, predicted the acceleration, an attractive effect was instead seen. Therefore, we see perceptual biases away from expectations for lifelong gravitational expectations and recently learned expectations cued by direction. But we see an attraction from recently learned expectations cued by ball colour. Currently, the role of adaptation in these perceptual effects is being examined.